Well, good evening, everyone. Just wanted to come on here and kind of continue the conversation um, about what happened yesterday with Charlie Kirk. On Wednesday. I'm sorry. Um, just want to say that with the death of Charlie Kirk, I think things will change. I think that it's going to be rocky. I think that it's going to be difficult to come together. I think the finger pointing will continue. I think the blame game will continue. Um, I think that now anybody who's white, conservative, and Christian have to watch their backs. I think, especially public figures, are going to have to increase their security. I think, I think a lot of things are going to change. I'm hopeful it won't, but I think they will. Um, I think that the celebrations and videos that we all saw all over social media, celebrating his death and good riddance and all this stuff, they're just pure evil people. There's no other way there's no other thing you can call them but just pure evil people. Lack of home training, whatever it might be, just pure evil people. There's no reason in this world that we as a society should promote people celebrating the death of innocent people. I mean, literally, that's we're at a point in society where you know we're almost gone when people celebrate the death of innocent people just because they don't agree with them. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. And I say this all the time on my videos. You don't have to agree with me. I just appreciate people listening. And I'm sure I'll get some comments, and that's fine. You don't have to agree. Just be respectful is what I always say. But even in that, the people that he was dealing with, that Mr. Kirk was dealing with, usually weren't respectful and usually were off the deep end. But he was yet patient. He would yet talk to them. He yet would allow them to talk, and he would yet debate them. And upon further research, because again, I didn't watch him a whole lot. I knew of him, of course. I know people that work for Turning Point, um, and I just don't understand. Come to find out, you know, from the people I know and others, that he was a man of faith, and he talked about his faith all the time, which tells me that that his faith was foremost. Um, I believe he believed in what he was saying. I agree with most everything he said for the most part, for what I've listened to and whatnot. And I think that uh, I think that it's a real sad state that we're in as a country, um, and in the world. But as a country, I can only talk about where I live. It's going on in other places like the UK and all these other places. It's a sad state when people will attempt to kill you for what you say or from what they've heard, which is why they tried to kill the president twice, because people kept calling him a Nazi and a fascist and Hitler and all these other things. Somebody's going to take a shot at him. And they did twice. So the problem we're having especially these days with the left, is they're demonizing the right. and they're doing such a great job at it that now people are taking shots. And again, it's not that both sides don't have extremists. They do, but that's just the way it is right now. And I could care less the people who did these shootings, whether they were on the right or the left. That's irrelevant. Who cares what side of the aisle they were on? What we should care about is they committed the crime, and it was a heinous crime, and they need to be punished for it, regardless of what we find out, what party they were affiliated to. Who cares? People put too much stock in whether they were on the right or on the left. Who cares? They killed somebody. Who cares? One person does not dictate a whole group. Now, that one person, if you allow that person to fester and to have influence, then yes, then it starts spreading. But one person does not set the how shall I put this? Um, one person doesn't one person that does something wrong doesn't mean the whole group that they belong to are bad people, unless you allow that bad person to fester. Then that's when it starts to spread. It's just like fruit. If you leave a bad piece of fruit in the bag, it starts to affect the other fruit in the bag and hence makes the rest of the fruit bad. But if you find that fruit and you take it out, then you save the other fruit. It's the same thing here. It doesn't matter what they end up finding, what side, quote unquote, politically belong to. Who cares? But people are going to make a big deal of this and going to start finger pointing again. It's just going to all go back to the way it was. We just need to let the the justice system do what it does, as imperfect as it is. We need to let the state of Utah do what they do so that the family gets justice. That's the most important thing. The family gets justice for the heinous murder, assassination, whatever word you want to use, of an innocent man. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing illegal. All he did was speak his beliefs, you know, both politically and religiously, and he was killed for it. Simple as that. He was killed for it. Now, whether this gentleman was by himself or was backed by others, hopefully that'll come out. I suspect he might have been lone, but these days, who knows? But the aftermath of this is that now, if you're a white, Christian, and conservative, you have to watch your back because people may be out to kill you, especially if you're a public figure. Now you have to watch your back. Now you have to have security, better security, spend more money on security that may or may not be able to secure you. Most people can't afford the security the president of the United States has. That costs millions of dollars. Most people can't afford that. So you can try to minimize it the best way you can, but most people aren't going to, if not all people, are going to be able to afford what the president gets. Just not going to happen. So either you stop having public appearances outside, or you say, you know what, I'm still going to do it because it needs to be done, and I'm just going to take a chance. And I'm just going to, be courageous and just keep doing what I've been doing, and whatever. And it's changed the landscape. I mean, the political landscape was already a mess. It was already dumpster fire as it is. But people that were willing to have conversation and discourse and have discussions with people they didn't agree with are so few and far between. And, it doesn't make any sense. And I think the aftermath of this is going to be rocky. I think it's going to be rocky. I think it's going to be difficult. We're hoping and praying that it's peaceful, that nobody takes any revenge, that more don't happen. But it's going to be rocky. I think this has woke up a lot of people that, people are out here to kill you just because they don't agree with you. And there are people out there that agree with people killing you. That's the real sad part. So, yeah, it's going to be a real rocky thing. And another thing that we have to be concerned about is our enemies are wanting us to fight amongst each other. The best way to destroy your enemy is to have the enemy destroy themselves. And that's what we're doing. We're just giving ammunition to our enemies. All we're doing is hurting ourselves. We're not hurting anybody else but ourselves. But people don't care about that. All they care about is their personal agendas. All they care about is their political affiliations. All they care about is their ethnic group they belong to. Who cares? We're all citizens. Most of us are citizens of the United States. In the end, all that other stuff is secondary. Nothing wrong with having ethnic pride and nothing wrong with belonging to a political party and nothing wrong with, belonging to this group and that group. But it shouldn't supersede the fact that most of us are citizens of the United States. And that's more important. And more important than that is if you're saved and a Christian, then you're a child of God. That's the most important, of course. But being a citizen of the United States is what binds us all together. What they call the Great Experiment, which is this country. Is the thing that binds us together is we're all citizens of this country, regardless of where we came from. And all of us came from somewhere, unless you're a Native American. All of us came from somewhere else. My folk came from England, Ireland, and Germany. All of us came from somewhere else. Unless you're Native American, of course. Some of us came under our own volition and some didn't. But regardless, we're all citizens of the United States of America. And that should bring us together in a common goal to see this country be successful, regardless of who the president is and regardless of what political party you belong to. The problem is that the few are outweighing the many. And people are so selfish that they can't think about other people. And the problem that we have now is we've become so tribal that we can't come together as a country to progress a common goal. Everybody thinks they're entitled. Again, we're talking about the aftermath of this now, because this doesn't just affect this just doesn't affect the Kirk family. It affects Turning Point. It affects the conservative people all around the world, the Republican Party. It affects people of faith. It affects a lot more than that. He spoke on many issues and influenced many people, irregardless if you agreed with him or not. Our problem is we're too much in our feelings, and then when we take those feelings and we manifest it into an action. Speech is not violence. That's a lie. Speech is what it is. Speech. Violence is a physical action. You're taking physical action against somebody. Whether it be punching them, stabbing them, shooting them, whatever it is, you're taking physical action against somebody. Speech is influential and speech is powerful, but it's not violence. And speech is a right that we have here in the United States of America to freely speak, irregardless if people like it or not. Hate speech, I hate to tell you, is protected speech. You don't have to like it. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's protected. See, people don't want to say that because people don't agree with it. Free speech is exactly what it says, free speech. And just because you say something somebody doesn't like and they call it hate speech doesn't necessarily make it hate speech and doesn't necessarily make it illegal or wrong either. But this is the world we live in now. If you don't agree with certain people, then they used to cancel you. Now they kill you. This is a problem. This is the problem. Or they'll demonize you. And that's what the left has been doing to the right for years now, for at least 8 years, if not longer, since at least President Trump, his first term. They've been calling conservatives Nazis and less than human. They've been doing all this stuff. And so, of course, some crazy person is going to take that to heart and go out and act on it. And that's what happened in this case. Again, who cares when they find out what political affiliation he is? Who cares? It doesn't matter. He killed an innocent person. Everybody's forgetting that. They're not trying to say, you know what, that guy was wrong, irregardless of what his political beliefs are. He was wrong. They're not saying that. They're trying to point fingers. Well, is he on the right or is he on the left? Even the president is wrong to assume that he's a leftist. He might not be. But it doesn't matter. He killed an innocent person. He assassinated an innocent person in front of his family. Wrong is wrong. Evil is evil. And these people that are all over the internet, TikTok and X and Instagram and all, they're evil. Every last living one of them, no matter what color they are. If you're out there celebrating the death, the murder, the assassination of an innocent man killed in front of his family, you're evil. Pure and simple. That's it. There's no other way to put it. You have no humanity left. And I would argue humanity is dying in the world. We're so all about ourselves, and we're so selfish, and we're so, concerned about the groups we belong to that we forget about the person next to us. We don't talk to our neighbors no more. We don't care what they do. We don't try to befriend people anymore. We're all about ourselves. Everything is done through social media now. We don't like to meet people in person anymore. It's become impersonal. Society as we know it is, for the most part, almost gone. These are the aftermaths, or potential aftermaths, of killing somebody like Charlie Kirk. When you kill somebody who has a massive influence, public influence, repercussions are going to happen. And usually they're not good. I apologize for the lighting. The clouds keep blocking the sun here. Things are going to happen. So we have to be very careful. We have to make sure we don't put all our trust in government. We don't put all trust in the media, especially not the media. They're done. We can't be conspiracy theorists. We got to make sure that the information we put out is the information that's put out. If we don't agree with it, or if we find something that's different, then fine, you put that out. Use multiple sources. Don't just believe one source. And try to get a source that's coming from both sides, if possible. You make a better informed person that way. And there are apps that do that. So I don't know. I think the aftermath, I pray it's going to be peaceful. And so far it has. Thankfully, they caught the guy. No, he wasn't a professional. Far from it. Um, but not necessarily amateur either. But he definitely wasn't a professional, not military that we know of or police trained. He left fingerprints. He left. Yeah, that's just not a sign of a professional. But we'll see. I don't think he was a professional. I think he was alone, but I could be wrong. Hopefully, we'll find out. And if we find out that he wasn't by himself, that we catch the other ones too. This was definitely premeditated, um, and it was just pure evil. I don't think necessarily that he meant to shoot him in the neck. I think he meant to shoot him in the head. I think, this is my opinion now, I'm not a sniper person, special forces, not like that. I mean, I'm military, but I don't have those sniper qualifications. But my opinion, I don't think he meant to hit him in the neck. That's a very difficult shot to take from 200 yards, if you're not trained. Not to say he couldn't do it, he had a scope, but I think he meant to shoot him in the head, and he didn't account for windage, and the bullet dropped. It only has to drop a few inches, and boom. From what I've read and heard, it hit him in the carotid, severed the carotid totally, and then hit the spine right back here. Hit the spine in the back. Didn't hit him in the chest and then go up. No. And for all y'all that saw the unedited video, as soon as that hit the carotid, blood just poured out. He literally, as soon as it hit, he went limp. You saw him fall back, go limp, and then he was gone. He was gone. Split the carotid, cut the blood flow to the brain. He was gone. If he didn't die right there on the spot, he died either before he got into the car or on the way to the hospital. Nothing his security detail could have done. They did their job. They were on top of him as soon as it happened, trying to stop the bleeding, which you can't do with the carotid. It's a surgical procedure you have to do right on the spot. For some reason, they had 3,000 people and there was no ambulance there. The university only had 6 cops on duty, which is probably not enough for 3,000 people. So, you know, again, he didn't deserve to die. I, I think the aftermath is just, it's going to be rocky. It's going to be rocky, and it's going to be tough. But prayerfully, something good comes out of this. I pray that somebody takes his mantle and keeps talking to college-aged young adults. I hope somebody takes his mantle and runs with it. They'll never be him, but they might be close. Hopefully somebody that's charismatic who is able to, really talk about the subjects, that knows the arguments back and forth like he did, so that you can have an intelligent conversation, who's articulate. That's what I hope. I hope that somebody picks up his mantle and runs with it. We're obviously praying for his wife and children and his family. The funeral's, I think, next week, and they're going to say that's going to be obviously well attended. So yeah, I think it's going to be rocky. I pray it's peaceful. I pray it's not rocky, but I just have this strange feeling that it's going to be a rocky road. And if I was a pessimist, I'd just tell you ain't nothing going to change. But I'm trying to be optimistic, and I'm hoping that something good comes out of all this. They have some sort of a discourse, that we stop being petty and all this is like we've been for decades, and start actually being adults. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Just kind of wanted to give my opinion on what may be kind of my feelings on the aftermath of it all, from what I've seen so far. I just kind of wanted to talk about it. So again, I appreciate each and every one of you that have left a comment, liked, watched this. I'm so appreciative. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with somebody. Maybe I've said something that you like. Again, all these are my opinions and life experiences. I'm just kind of giving my thoughts. You don't have to agree. Just be respectful. And Yeah, that's about it. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. My last video has been viewed quite a bit, and I appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. I'm not trying to be salacious or anything like that. I'm just giving my opinion, my thoughts, my little 2 cents. So that's it. And so until next time, God bless you.